Bursting onto the scene in the early days of Hollywood glamour, Hedy Lamarr personified the allure and mystery of the silver screen. And behind those smoky eyes and striking features was an intellect and ingenuity seldom recognized. Join Facts Verse as we present She Filmed the World's First Love Scene 90 Years Ago. Discovering her life's passion. Hedy Lamarr, born Hedwig Kiesler in 1914, was raised in a fairly comfortable environment in Vienna. As a child, she was tutored in German, French, and Italian by her governess, while her father, a Jewish businessman, shared his knowledge of engineering with her. Kiesler's passion, however, veered towards acting, pushing her to leave school at 15 to work as a script clerk at a film studio and later as an extra. This initial venture into the world of cinema led her to her first major role at 18 as the lead in Gustav Machadi's scandalous romantic drama Ecstasy. In the film, she portrayed a young bride named Eva who, after a liberating naked swim, meets a passionate engineer and experiences a level of satisfaction her impotent husband could not provide. Her portrayal caused a global stir, as she was the first actress to simulate an orgasm on film. Lamarr later revealed that the director's use of a safety pin induced her reaction on screen, contributing to the scene's authenticity. The film's explicit content led to its denouncement by Pope Pius XI, earning Lamarr the infamous label the Ecstasy Girl. Any publicity is good publicity? Ecstasy stirred controversy not just for its groundbreaking depiction of a female orgasm on screen, but also for other provocative elements that challenged the norms of its era. From the moment of its release, Ecstasy initiated a firestorm of disapproval and censure, primarily due to its bold portrayal of nudity and sexual pleasure, facets seldom explored in the film industry during the 1930s. In addition to the scene featuring the orgasm, the film also contains sequences where the actress ran and swam naked. These scenes ignited the fuse of outrage in several conservative quarters, creating an uproar beyond the Vatican's denouncement. The film's bold depiction of sexuality drew the ire of various censorship boards across various countries. The U.S.'s Catholic Legion of Decency condemned the film in 1933, rendering it the first foreign film to be deemed morally objectionable by the Legion. In Germany, the film was initially banned, released only in 1935, and even then with edited scenes. The film's journey to the American audience was not smooth either. Beginning in 1936, the U.S. distributor of Ecstasy lobbied the Hays Office, which enforced moral guidelines for American films, for 10 months in hopes of securing the Hays Code seal of approval, a necessity for a wide American release. However, Joseph Breen, in an inter-office memo, labeled the film as, quote, highly, even dangerously indecent. The Hays office refused approval, deeming it a story of illicit love and frustrated sex, treated in detail without sufficient compensating moral values. Despite these setbacks, Ecstasy managed to secure a limited release in the U.S. in 1935, but still faced stiff resistance. While some state censor boards like New York granted approval, most demanded extensive cuts or restrictions, and in certain cases, like in Pennsylvania, it was completely banned. Another controversy was the widely circulated claim by Lamarr herself that she had essentially been duped into filming the nude scenes. She alleged that the director had misled her, assuring her that only long shots would be used and no intimate details would be visible. But during the film's preview in Prague, she was shocked to witness numerous close-ups produced with the telephoto lenses. Not so smooth sailing. Despite the controversies, Ecstasy made Lamarr a household name and caught the attention of Friedrich Mandl, a wealthy armaments manufacturer who was also the third richest man in Austria. After a whirlwind engagement, the two married, with Mandl bestowing upon his young wife a life of opulence. Despite the luxury, Lamarr felt suffocated as Mandl's obsessive jealousy deprived her of personal freedom. Eventually, she found a way to escape, leaving Mandl behind in 1937, and she ventured towards Hollywood. Her journey to stardom wasn't smooth. She met Louis B. Mayer, the head of MGM, in London. Initially reluctant to sign her, Mayer was eventually swayed by Lamarr's determined charm, offering a contract, albeit with a modest salary. Undeterred, Lamarr followed Mayer on his ocean liner trip back to America, taking the opportunity to captivate him further. By the time the ship reached the U.S., she had not only secured a lucrative Hollywood contract, but had also adopted a new name, Hedy Lamarr. Her American debut in the film Algiers in 1938 stunned both audiences and critics, with reviewers focusing more on her enchanting beauty than acting talent. Lamarr's exotic accent, alluring past, and mesmerizing appearance made her a sensation and the epitome of fantasy for Depression-era audiences. Despite a string of successful films, including Boomtown with Clark Gable and Spencer Tracy, and Cecil B. DeMille's Samson and Delilah, the highest-grossing film of 1949, her career had its share of failures, and her performances were occasionally criticized as detached. Actress by day, inventor by night. During her Hollywood journey, Lamarr, far from the glitz and glamour, indulged in her hobby of inventing. She could often be found at home crafting designs for traffic lights or soluble fizzy drink tablets. Her inventive streak eventually led to her most groundbreaking idea, a radio-guided torpedo system during World War II. Lamarr, in collaboration with George Antheil, developed a frequency-hopping system that prevented enemies from jamming radio signals between a plane and guided torpedo. Despite the patent she and Antheil received in 1942, the U.S. Navy dismissed her invention as overly futuristic. In the years following her stardom's decline, she led a quieter life in Florida, her image only briefly appearing in the media as the subjects of lawsuits or for her botched plastic surgery. Her most significant recognition came late in life when in 1997, she and Antheil were honored with the Electric Frontier Foundation's Pioneer Award for their work on spread-spectrum technology. In 2014, she was posthumously inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Lamarr's death and enduring legacy. Hedy Lamarr passed away January 19, 2000 in Castleberry, Florida, a suburb of Orlando. She lived a private life towards the end, maintaining distance from the public eye. The cause of death was reported as heart disease, a natural end to a life that had been marked by remarkable achievement and an impressive career, spanning both the film industry and the scientific field. Her passing went largely unnoticed at first, with obituaries primarily focusing on her Hollywood career, her beauty, and numerous marriages. It wasn't until years later that her contributions to science and technology started to receive widespread recognition. After her death, Lamarr was cremated, and her son, Anthony Loder, spread her ashes in the Vienna woods, close to her birthplace in Austria, fulfilling her last wishes. Even though she passed away more than 2 decades ago, her legacy continues to inspire. As co-inventor of spread-spectrum technology, she paved the way for today's wireless communications, including Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know that Hedy Lamarr, in addition to being a beautiful Hollywood actress, was also an incredible inventor? Let us know in the comments section below.